Hey guys, what's up? This is Eddie coming back at you. Today is Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday, August the 10th. All right, so today I wanted to come before you guys to discuss the contract and writing offers. So I got the question from a client, what can I do to make myself or my offer more appealing to the sellers? So the question was, what can I do to make myself or my offer more appealing to the seller? So there's a couple of things that you need to know. The sellers, for the most part, don't care anything about you. That's not for you to take personal, but they really don't care anything about you or your situation. All they care about is what they're going to get. Typically, that's just how it is. Those are the facts. So these are some things that you need to consider, as we're submitting offers. So I'm going to pull up an example offer and we're going to kind of go through different terms of the offer that could make your offer and therefore yourself more appealing to sellers. All right, hold one second. Okay, so this is an example offer that I present to the seller's agents. So once again, remember, this is what the seller wants. They want more value for their home. So the more that you can offer them for the home, the better off you're going to be. So they want more value, they want less risk. So in any contract to purchase a home, there are risks involved. So the seller would prefer for you to take all of the risk and them to not take any of the risk. Okay, so more money, less risk, and they want preferable terms as well. So we're going to go through some of these on the offer. So we'll start right here with the offering price. So that's number 3 right here. So as you guys remember, I mentioned that over 80% of homes right now have multiple offers. So you can assume if a home comes on the market and you like it, there's somebody else that likes it as well, and they're going to submit an offer. So there is intense competition. So the purchase price or the offer price is going to be critical. Most homes right now are selling for above listing price. Remember, you need to look at that listing price as a suggestion. So that isn't how much it's going to cost you to get the home. That's just a suggested price. Most homes are going to go above that listing price, okay? The comps as well. So I've had people ask me about comps as well lately. I typically look at the comps before I submit offers. If there's something that looks crazy, I'm going to let you know. But right now, if you go based upon what the comps say, you more than likely you will not get home. That's just the type of market that we're in right now. Every month, home prices are increasing. So if you're looking at comps, we typically look at the last 3 months to give us the best estimation of what the current market says. Typically, that's going to be behind. So, as each day goes by and homes close, that listing price or that sales price is increasing. All right. So the offering price is going to be critical. Now, unfortunately, I can't tell you whether you should do 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 because I've seen all of it. I've seen a couple of my listings have gone for $30,000, $35,000 over list price. Now, me personally, I wouldn't do that, but these people wanted the house bad enough to where they were willing to do that. So I can't tell you not to do it, but if you ask me would I do it, my answer would probably be no. But I have a home, I'm not in the market. So this is important for you to know that offering price is going to be critical. Okay, so the question is, how high are you willing to go? How much risk are you willing to take? So let's take a look at the next thing, the earnest money. So typically for homes less than $200,000 in a typical market, we typically see $500 in earnest money. Over 200,000 is typically when we see $1,000 in earnest money. Right now, buyers are increasing that because they want to show the seller, listen, I got cash, I'm a safe bet. Choose my offer. So we're seeing up to $5,000 in earnest money being turned in. Once the seller agrees to your offer, this money has to be turned in within 48 hours, to the closing attorney. All right. So how much money can you offer in earnest money? The more, the better. All right. Next, let's take a look at financing. Is your offer contingent upon financing? Now, what we're seeing now is, in this market nowadays, we're seeing a lot more cash offers. So if someone submits a cash offer that's comparable to your offer, more than likely the seller is going to select the cash offer because there's less risk. They don't have to worry about you being approved for the loan. They know the money's already in the bank. They don't have to worry about the home not appraising. So cash is going to be king in this market. You just need to understand that. If you have cash, that's great. Your offer will go to the top. All right. If you don't have cash, like most people just don't have $200,000 sitting around, conventional loan is the preferred because there's more flexibility there. Less preferred is FHA and VA. All right. So if you can do a conventional loan and you don't have cash, that's the way to go. All right. All right. So appraisal contingency. We're seeing a lot of buyers nowadays waive the appraisal contingency. Now, what that means is, so when the bank sends their appraiser out there to take a look at the home, they are only going to give you what the appraiser says that the home is worth. So if you offer $40,000 over and the appraiser comes out and say, no, it's actually worth $40,000 less. If you do not have an appraisal contingency, basically you're telling the seller, I'm going to bring that $40,000 out of my bank account and we're still going to move forward with the deal. All right. So you can only do that if you have cash on hand. So can you remove that appraisal contingency? If you can, that's going to make you look more appealing to the sellers. If you cannot, then you just come back to the pack with everybody else. Okay. All right. Closing date. This is a preferable term, could be a preferable term for the seller. If you allow them to choose when that closing date is going to be. Some sellers like to close within as soon as possible. 14 days, I want to have this closed. Some, they want a little more time, maybe 45, maybe 60 days. So are you flexible on a closing date? Now, if the seller prefers a quick closing date, one of the things that you may want to do is go ahead and reach out to your loan officer to see if you can go ahead and get your file pre-underwritten. So that means that they'll go ahead and start the process. So whenever you get that home, whenever you give them the address, all they'll have to do is, do the follow-up on the home itself, do your title search and things like that. So if you can go ahead and start that process, that's going to make you more appealing. The seller's going to know, hey, at least you made it through the pre-underwriting underwriting process. So that kind of sets you apart from everyone else as well. All right, let's move forward. So are you going to have inspections? Are you going to accept this property as is? So if you accept the property as is, we're seeing a lot of that nowadays. So that is the norm. But you could actually say, I'm going to say accept it as is, and I'm not going to even have inspections. So that's your property sold as is with no due diligence period. Now you can do it as is with your due diligence period. That's where you're going to have that 10 business days to do your inspections, see what you're getting. But some buyers are saying, listen, I'm not going to even do that. I want the house that bad. I'm not going to have inspections. I just want it. Are you willing to do that? If you're willing to do that, that could put you in a more advantageous position, in the seller's eyes. All right. So let's go down to the next one. Sellers aren't offering a home warranty. You don't want to ask for anything pretty much in this market. Let's look at section 18. All right. So this is where I put some of those terms in there. You can say, listen, the closing attorney is whoever you want it to be. Typically, the buyer gets to decide. But if you want to put yourself in a more advantageous position with the seller, you may tell the seller, hey, you can choose who the closing attorney is. In fact, you can choose who you want my lender to be. You tell me who you prefer, and I'll go and I'll get approved by that lender. So you can do that as well. And then you have the appraisal gap contingency, which we're seeing a lot of. Now, this may not be the actual terminology, so we'll confer with the attorneys to make sure that we have the proper terminology in here. But we have a lot of buyers that are saying that if the home does not appraise, I'm willing to pay so-and-so a much over the appraisal price. So especially if you're going to offer more than a list price. So as I stated earlier, your amount doesn't mean anything, if you have an appraisal contingency, because if you go $20,000 over list price, but you have appraisal contingency, then that's pretty much telling the seller that, hey, whatever the bank gives me, that's what I'm going to give you. But if you can say, listen, I'm going $20,000 above, and even if it doesn't appraise, I'm willing to pay up to $20,000, but not to exceed my offering price. So are you in a position to do that? If you are in a position to do that, then that's going to put you in a more advantageous position. You're going to have, you're going to go to the top of that pile. All right. So basically, these are some quick things that you can do, as a buyer in this market to make yourself and make your offer look more appealing to a seller. Now, I will say this. Now, a lot of these things that I mentioned to you, I may not necessarily do. And I think I've said this before. I want you to understand that I may not necessarily do it, but these are things that you can do to put your offer and yourself in a better light, to increase your chances of actually winning the home and putting the home under contract. If you have any questions or concerns, please give me a call. As you know, my phone number is 803-497-7112. As always, guys, may God bless you. Heaven continually smile upon you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. All right. Peace.